Hi there, it's Mark Bauer with Bauer and Associates here in our Dallas office again. Still on the theme of finding money for your business, accessing funding. Remember, there's 5 steps I've told you on how do you get funding for your business. So remember, there are you strategize, you negotiate, you do your due diligence, you do the legal work, and then you celebrate. Most fun part, obviously. So today let's talk about step 4, which is the legal process. And the legal process doesn't sound very exciting, but there are ways to get through this very simply and very painlessly. So let's talk about that. So the first thing we have to ask ourselves is first, let's understand when the legal process starts. Me personally, I've tried to start it many times earlier than it actually can be started. So what happens, remember, when your investors are going to wait until the diligence process is over, and that's because they want to know that everything you've told them is true and that they believe everything, and not that you would lie to them, but that you've made assumptions about where you think your business will be in 5 years. And if you're in healthcare, you've talked about, this is where I think the state of healthcare will be over the next 5 years. That's why this is a good investment. They're going to have hired people to, again, not only look at your numbers, but look at all your assumptions and give them an opinion that this is a great deal. So until they finish that step of the process, they're not ready to make their final commitment. Now, this is what happens at that final commitment. That final commitment, they will have a partner meeting at the end of the due diligence process. They will say, look, we've done all our research. We believe the story. We recommend the investment, and the partners will vote, and that will be the final approval for your transaction. Now we're in the legal phase, and the legal phase, and they're not going to start that before, so I'll go back and say that they're not going to start that earlier because it's also an expensive phase. And this is the first expensive phase, not only for them, but you. Remember, they paid for the legal phase, for the diligence phase up front, and that didn't cost you anything. But now they're going to pay for lawyers, and so will you. So at this stage, everything has to be settled. So now, in the simplest terms, whether your lawyer starts or their lawyer starts, they are going to create the documents to create the transaction you guys agreed upon. I can't lie to you. This is going to be an expensive part of the process, but it's the final phase before, of course, we close. So in the simple process of drafting those documents, that's pretty simple. And I have one piece of advice, and the most important piece of advice is don't hire your buddy attorney. Don't hire the guy that did your business documents or the person that says they're a business attorney. Don't hire the person that takes care of your speeding tickets. Who you want to hire is somebody that has done many, and in this world, the funding world is called M&A, mergers and acquisitions. They're an M&A attorney. You want to hire someone that's done a lot of M&A transactions. And that's because this is their expertise. I can't tell you how many of these deals get derailed because somebody's personal attorney argues over stuff that makes no sense in an M&A transaction because they don't understand that world. So you really, really want someone that understands that world and can give you good advice. So that's that part of the transaction. What I would really say to you about the legal process is the legal process starts when you're thinking about doing a transaction. So you should be personally engaged in the legal transaction process at the very beginning before you send out your executive summary, while you're negotiating. And there's a reason for this. And there should be no surprises. If there's a theme to anything in this, it's no surprises. There should be no surprises when your diligence is done. You should have everything in order, and you should know what's going to be there. From the legal perspective, there should be no surprises. And I'm going to cheat here because when I do this, I like to look at you guys and talk, and I don't want to read. I do everything from memory. But I'm not an attorney, so I'm going to look at a few notes. But But here's what I recommend. I recommend you find a top level attorney that will work with you early on for a reasonable fee and basically go through everything. Go through your corporate documents and make sure they're in order, that you can actually sell your business or sell whatever you own or get an investor involved. Don't wait till the end to do this. Have a person go through every legal document because besides what's going to happen at the legal part of this process where their attorneys are going to review every document you have and look for exposure, you should have already done that. And your attorney should have said, Mark, this may be a problem. Not Mark, that's me. But said, this should be a problem. You need to anticipate this. And you need to anticipate anything that's going on. I'm going to read it through a sort of a checklist of things that I think attorneys should be looking for and looking at. They look at your corporate documents. They'll look at any regulatory issues that involve your business. They'll look at your website and internet. You know, again, there are legal issues there. What's represented, what's on there. They'll look at intellectual property sort of issues, how you retain your documents, what are your employee, your human resource sort of policies. They'll look at every document you have in this. They'll look at your leases, your real estate. They'll look at your insurance and your taxes. They're going to look at all your contracts. Any joint ventures or strategic partners you have. They're going to look at any disputes you have going on, and because remember, you have to disclose all of this to everybody. They're going to look at any environmental issues, any encumbrances you have. They're going to look at, they're going to help you prepare your virtual data room so you're ready to which a virtual data room is basically when I get to the process of putting all my diligence documents someplace, all my legal documents into like a cloud environment, a virtual data room. They're going to make sure that you've done that so you've protected all your data. And you want them to do that. The bottom line in this is get your attorneys involved early and get an attorney that specializes in mergers and acquisitions or specializes in the type of business deal you're trying to do. If it's not a merger and acquisition, if it's a venture capital deal, if we're looking at a debt deal with mezzanine banking, get someone that specializes in that to get you through this so they can prepare you so you can get through this as seamlessly as possible. And you know the next step coming up, which is the celebration, which everybody loves. So, and yeah, nice visiting with you guys. Talk to you soon.